Last game of the night, and it's going to be Dusty versus Godsent versus Galaxy Racer. So I was about to say Dusty. Godsent versus Galaxy Racer over in Group B. Godsent yet to get a win on the board. Galaxy Racer sitting at 2-2 apiece. This feels like a bit of a must-win for Godsent, mainly because we're getting to that stage of the tournament now where if you're not picking up wins, top 3 is looking less and less, of an option for you. And as we said before, it's a little harder to get out of the groups in the NLC this time round. You need to be top 3 rather than top 4. And because of the way that Group B is currently stacked, Trouble, it's just feeling a little edgy for Godsent at this point.
And you're also done playing all of the teams in your group, and now you're gonna start playing the teams in the other group. So we're gonna have cross-group play from now on. So this is like the last time that they'll play their group for now, and then they're gonna go on to different opponents. So if you haven't figured out the opponents that you've been watching all this time, now you have to play different ones, and you have to pick some very crucial wins. Saying that, I'm a big fan of Galaxy Racer. I feel like they've been playing really well. I do like the synergy they're having. I do like their aggression. I do like the way they're pushing their map. I do like how Wendelbo has been playing. He's been a big figure for them and a big shot caller. So, yeah.
I agree with Trouble. And I think we also have to look at it the other way around with Godsent. What is it that has not worked out for this team? And it just seems like that even when they do get small leads, they struggle to translate that into something bigger a lot. They go for some plays that don't always work out for them. I'd still like to see Godsent try and go for something proactive in this comp period, at least for trying setting aesthetic up or the top side of the map up for something greater. And then you kind of have Yusa and Svenne as a reliable engage in the back line. We know Svenne loves to play the likes of engage supports down there. So if you can get yourself set up for success through at least comfort, I think you're on the right track as Godsent.
We've got the first pick available here. Renekton banned, Lee Sin an option, Rumble, of course, on the table, and that will get picked up as the first pick for aesthetic in the jungle.
Ooh. Okay. Quick replies. Both of them flex. You can actually take the Akali in the top lane if you so wish. And we saw Atlantis play the Lee Sin in the jungle. I think we saw Jakey played in the qualifiers as well, the Lee Sin jungle, if I'm not wrong. And remembering from his Graves and the way he carried, I do like the aggressive style that he has. I wouldn't mind seeing Jakey play the Lee Sin into the Rumble.
I think Zed would honestly have been a really good response to this one as well, but by them locking in the Rumble and then Kai'Sa, you can already see what they're going for here. You know they're going to be playing towards this bot side here, so that can be a bit difficult for them because now a lot of the solo laners or certain counters will get banned out for some of the champions like the Akali or like the Lee Sin. We saw them slightly hover the Zed, which we saw earlier was a really good matchup for Zed into Akali, but now that can just get banned away, and we will see the solo lane can struggle a bit with finding a counter pick for these champions now.
Yeah, a lot of high tier picks already locked in for Godsent as well. One of the things that you take away from this is Rumble very S tier. Kai'Sa is some people debate, but I think a lot of people expect sort of talk about her as being one of the best AD carries in the meta. Leona's very frequently banned away. So Godsent are giving themselves a decent platform to work with. Like, this is a relatively good early draft phase. Of course, though, you're going into the Akali, which was terrorizing the LEC over the last weekend. And one of the few ways that we've seen people deal with Akali is by drafting these kind of like big, beefy solo laners like the Set and the Renekton, and those, or at least one of the two, is currently banned. So, Akali not as, I would say, not as easy to shut down the Akali with the current crop of champions that we have available right now.
And to be fair, it seems like both competitions are going for the same thing, right? They're both going for the all-in. You've got the flank potential with the Lee Sin. I would potentially really like to say Gragas. And Gragas really does disrupt sort of all the backline dive, or something like the Nocturne that has completely gone undetected this entire time. A Nocturne that can go on the side lane, a Nocturne that can go into the jungle. It could be a priority lane for you. And also when the night goes down, all these heavy engaged tools that you have to be so well coordinated, because obviously you can't see.
That almost has to be a Lucian bot. Why would you not just pick an 80 here? Now you're just... Because if that's the Lucian mid or top, then you're kind of like, oh wow, Lee Sin is going jungle, and then you're not holding your flex. So that should be... Or else they're just bluffing. There's some mind games going on in this draft going into this one. Now has been one of the picks locked in here, and with Rumble, I would like to see a Jace. Honestly speaking, we have seen a lot of success with that champion, and I think it does enable you to get a good shove into the mid lane. It works nicely against Lee Sin, works nicely against Akali to get priority, not to win the lane, but to keep mid shoved out so you can always just move around the map if you want to go for dives for user onto this Kai'Sa now. I'd really like a priority lane or something that enables the map.
I mean, Twisted Fate is the one that's being hovered and will get locked in. Not as strong, I think, in terms of pushing the lane as the Jace is, but does have map pressure, does have the ability to influence the side lanes here. So I think a lot of pressure on 610's shoulders to have that impact, though, because he hasn't. I would say he's. I might regret saying this. I don't know. But I feel like he's been the worst performing mid in the entire tournament thus far, and I think he's really struggled to have an impact from that role right now. So this is a game where, you know, if he is going to step up, if he is going to kind of really pop off, it has to be on this Jace. Sorry, on this TF. Jace got locked in.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Jace now locked in does give you a bit of a heavy AD composition, but we've seen how much Akali can actually still do if she's left untouched. You do have the Destiny now to spot her under the Shroud. I think that's some really good tools to keep her. Praise Seeker does spot her as well, or Void Seeker rather. But you can take a look onto Galaxy Racer. They have a lot of tools to work in the early game as onto Godsent. It's going to take some time for them to get online, and that can be a bit tough in a meta like this. In this meta, proactivity and early skirmishes are very much rewarded. If you're the one pulling the trigger, you're most likely going to come out on top rather.
Yeah, I'll agree with Goldborg right here. I think the skirmishing power goes to Galaxy Racer, but when level 6 hits for Godsent, you're going to have to respect. The second the Twisted Fate walks out of lane, the second the Rumble has the equalizer, you're going to have to respect where they both are on the map, because they can pull very, very easy ganks if they coordinate these two.
Well, we got our final game of the night. One more to go. We'll see how Hitbrain and Jamada feel about those drafts as we head into game.
I'm going to tell you, Alexandro. I'm going to tell you exactly how Jamada's feeling about this draft. Another Akali, buddy. How are you feeling about that one?
Starting to feel a bit lightheaded, I think. Yeah, I mean, look, I think, again, both these comps definitely have their merits. We spoke relatively at length about some of the struggles that Godsent have definitely been having so far throughout the split. I think this is a draft where they can definitely do some damage to what Galaxy Racer are running, though. I think you've got Illusion in the bot lane that wants to play aggressive with his Alistar, and, you know, once level 6 does roll in for this Twisted Fate, you've got the Destiny Gate, and he's going to have to put a little bit more respect on the fact that beg your pardon, Twisted Fate can effectively just cheat a wave and just teleport down. And it's the same thing for the Jace too. Jace wants to play aggressively. TF can just go. He has really strong options on both side lanes here. So I think it's also then towards aesthetic to make sure that the Twisted Fate doesn't go, you know, doesn't get punished too hard, and that he can also follow up on some of these plays to just immediately create these instantaneous numbers advantages on the sides.
Well, we are into game. Unfortunately, we have had a light issue before we get going into this game. It is purely just a comms issue, so it shouldn't take too long to resolve. Had a pause before this anyway, because if you were watching the timer, you might have noticed it jump up a couple of times.
Yes.
It's always going to happen, unfortunately. It's the nature of online gaming. Hopefully, we'll be getting into the game fairly soon. But yeah, it's, you know, I was excited to see the Akali kind of return into the meta, because I find, you know, as much as a lot of people don't like the Akali in Aurelia and things, like, I actually really love those champions. I think they make really explosive games, really hyping moments. But we have had a lot of Akali. Last week, it was kind of all about the Ezreal. The Ezreal was dominating everywhere we went. This week, the Ezreal's taken a backseat a little bit. We haven't seen it quite as much, and it's all been about this Akali. So I'm interested to see, maybe we just get something new every week, because the first week, it was the Morgana Rumble. With the Udyr kind of thrown in there. It's a bit of seasoning on top. So, you know, maybe going into week 4, we see something else. That'd be fun, actually. Kind of new hot champ of the week. Bit better than entire.
I mean, it's how the meta works.
Hecarim. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's how the meta works. There's always flavor of the month champions. Hecarim, is interesting that you bring him up, because I actually think he might have room on 11.12. Maybe in patches moving forward. Simply with Divine Thunder being so strong, and they've also buffed him a couple of times since their gutting of the poor horsey. So he's not necessarily as oppressive in terms of movement speed, but in terms of damage and sustain, he's kind of there. So hopefully some teams start to picking up, potentially see, you know, gauge the waters, right? Because at the end of the day, Hecarim is still a champion that can get very heavily abused in the early game.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't want to see Hecarim for a
You don't want
while.
Hecarim back? I don't.
I'm a little bored of the Hecarim. I'm glad for Udyr, even though he still has a place in the meta because I love that champion. I'm glad he's not getting played as much as we were seeing him. Anyway, looks like the issues are resolved and we are finally onto the rift for our 5th and final game of the day. Speaking of junglers, it's actually the Lee Sin in the jungle for Jakey. You know, we've seen Lee Sin pop up here and there every now and then. And it's interesting because it's been more solo laner since the start of this season. Since the summer split anyway, not the season, but summer split. And one of the main things is, you hit on this yesterday on the UKLC, with the removal of Hunter's Machete, the early clear
is very slow.
Is slow, yeah. And he struggles to keep up with the other junglers, but kind of picking it up as a denial pick. They want that Lee Sin to be able to be flexible, and you know, he still technically does work as a jungler, and we're back on our faces once again, unfortunately.
Yeah. All these pause screens are telling me is that I need to shave again. I need to clean up a bit.
I'm getting a little stubbly.
I like the stubble on you, brother. I think it's not bad.
Yeah. The problem is like I think I actually rock the stubble, but what comes after I don't rock.
It's not good.
It's that fine line. So it's just like I shave.
You get about 3 days worth of good facial hair value, and then it's
great for 3 days, and then it just goes like it turns like when it's a beard, it's all right, but I'm really bad.
It's that in between process.
It's that pre-beard stage, and it looks dreadful on me. But I've had a beard a couple of times, and every time I do it, it's always in the off season. So I've never actually had a beard for a show. I stroke it too much, and I touch it too much, and you know, it's addictive. Skin. It is, and I always get kind of spotty when I do it because I'm just like constantly touching my face like a gremlin. So I just chill, and I like shaving as well. I think there's something really therapeutic, quite relaxing about shaving. Yeah. Do you not get that? You know, I mean, you don't get that because you have a beard and you don't shave. But you know,
I only really line it up and trim it. I don't go.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get the full shaving experience in the morning. You wake up. I have proper old man shave as well, where you get the hairbrush thing, not the hairbrush, but the brush made of mine's badger hair actually.
Okay.
And you mix it up with the soap, and then you lather it on, and it's just like it feels. You feel so good. You feel so refreshed.
I can see it.
Galaxy Racer bot lane is well known for his Cogmore pick, and it has been banned against him 2 of 5 games so far. This is his first Lucian bot game since March.
Oh wow! So that
was
made just
a very
now.
Interesting one.
Yeah, and I think, wait.
That or whoever makes those is an absolute god of prediction. I know our observers zooming in on the ward, but yeah, you never know. Yeah. Maybe we just have a really good team.
Yeah,
maybe they have one prepared for every champion Monk could have played.
True, actually,
this is his first ever Fiddlesticks AD carry game.
I will say Monk's Lucian, I won't call it as iconic per se as his Cogmore, but it's something that he certainly, from my knowledge, used to specialize in and still enjoys quite a lot. Trading, level 1.
Trading, yeah. I mean, no one in League of Legends is as good at utilizing the Cogmore passive than Monk.
I don't know about. Come on, man. I mean, I've always described Monk's AD carry game players a little bit crazy. I think he's a limit tester.
Yeah, he's definitely testing limits.
But it does work out.
Supports patience as well. No, jokes aside, Monk is very much a feast or famine player. When he gets fed,
he is the machine.
It's actually doomed for the enemy team. Monk is going to take over. Monk is going to absolutely pop off. When Monk doesn't get fed, the enemy team gets fed. That is very much the Monk style. And, you know, I think it's personally, you know, while we have criticisms of him, I would really like to see a more tempered Monk. And, you know, for people who like watching Monk play, they probably don't want to see that because that's what they enjoy about Monk. I'm a play-by-play caster. I like the hype. Monk is a great player to cast. But, you know, for his personal growth, I would love to see Monk be a little bit more tempered. Maybe not be quite so ballsy with his plays because, let's be real, Monk has the makings of an absolutely S-tier AD carry, but it's just getting those kind of finer details down.
Yeah, I mean, mechanically, Monk is a very strong AD carry out. That 5-point strike went through 610, but sorry to cut you off on the play-by-play. First blood's gone.
Yeah, I mean, you can have that one.
Okay, I know it's not like a replay-worthy first blood, but I want to highlight that that Q definitely went through him. Really strange. I don't think that's...
I'm sure we'll get a replay.
We probably will get a replay.
If he likes doing replays, so it will come. There's the flash onto Wendell. Zene ignited, low HP, and Monk should just be able to pick up at least an assist. No, the auto attack, the exhaust is big enough. Monk not able to find himself anything there. And Galaxy Racer, they're getting hypey.
Yeah, that was really good timing of the exhaust by Yusa. As Vene has no DC'd, and we're in a pause.
Again.
As the replay, yeah. Okay, I actually looked away from the stream feed. So I didn't see the replay of the Akali play. But yeah, real nice headbutt pole, and didn't actually, I don't think, intend to catch Vene. It was purely for Yusa, but it actually hit him as, have a break, have a kick out. Are we back into pause? We're on us.
Hello?
Because,
It's us?
I think it must have just gone back into another pause.
It must have.
Why
I'll get some confirmation on that, whether or not we're in a pause or not.
Because our live feed is...
Oh, no. We're going back.
Yeah. Okay, we're here, guys.
Oh, hold
and
on.
610 being bullied again.
Yeah, but they're looking to turn it around with the
Jackie's
harpoon on. Jakey going low, and Jakey just going down. Aesthetic able to find the kill.
Yeah, real nice from Aesthetic. I feel like Jackie should have seen Rumble behind him. Bit of an overcommit there. Maybe it's just the edge of vision thing. Once he committed, it was too late. But yeah, one thing to also note, which is, and just hit my mind, Aesthetic playing against his former teammates in Kakan and Monk.
Yeah,
Of course, part of the very infamous Eminem Summer 2020 roster.
Back when Monk was, I'd say was a mid laner, attempted mid lane.
Yeah. It wasn't so pretty as this is a dive in the making. Okay, no. All right, they're relaxing. They don't have to. They don't have to fit.
To see. No, they're not. No, they are.
Come on, guys, give us some action.
That is a very thematic bot lane, prestige bot lane there.
Yeah, I like that. Doused in gold. Yeah, Yusa and Svene are, but Yusa actually left alone here. Tibor could rotate with Jackie, and the fog pressure could actually be enough to force Yusa entirely off this wave, and you're seeing just that right now.
Yeah.
And I think Jackie actually wants to invade onto the chicken camp, but you're going to see Svene opening back out through mid, so you're going to have to give this one up. Nice idea, but with Wendell not actually rotating up, staying in the lane to pressure off Yusa, just a fight that if they took, they would absolutely lose.
And actually, we talked a little bit about Monk, but I want to talk about his counterpart here, Yusa. For a long time, Yusa kind of was the golden boy of the UK scene. Rookie of the split multiple times, and Monk's going to be able to survive this onslaught, so we can kind of go back to that. But Yusa now finally kind of, getting his opportunity to show us what he's made of in a bigger setting, so to speak. We've got to see what he's kind of made of right now. 0-4 on Godsent. Not particularly the greatest showing from these guys.
No. I mean, Yusa, in his time away from the NLC, I believe, spent one split in the EBL and then...
Yep.
Okay, Kakan. Sorry, I was kind of nonchalantly talking about that, but Kubu getting picked on. Oh, Jackie, I think. Yeah, Jackie would have taken that if he knew the shock blast was going to hit, I think. But yeah, then a split in the EBL. And then, of course, then I think that was on Crazy. Or Go For Crazy, however you say the organization name. I'm sorry. Slipped mind right now. But then
I think you're fine.
Yeah, and then spent a split on Resolve, actually, in UKLC, where...
Yeah, he did.
The winless, the full lossless regular split into UKLC champions. Didn't quite make the full run, though, through Telia, unfortunately.
And I think, again, this is a player who's got, a
lot of potential,
a high ceiling. He's got capability. It's a matter of kind of, drawing that greatness out of him, because Yusa of old actually did have a pretty good season, but I'm not going to have to hold about that as they do look to jump onto Wendell, and now Svene getting a lot of damage here, getting a little bit too hypey. The flash is there, the exhaust is there, and Munko able to find himself the kill. Not really sure why they decided to turn that one around, but they did. They've got Aesthetic with Equalizer ready, but I don't think Galaxy Racer are going to overstay here.
I mean, the wave is going to push in, though, so that's the thing. Galaxy Racer, if they want to catch the CS, they're going to have to walk forward. So it's nice positioning from Aesthetic.
And look at Svedek, he's just out of vision. They're not checking the alcove, but 610 getting caught out here. Gets himself kicked, gets the gold card. Jakey trying to get the follow-up. The perfect execution is laid down beautifully, and they find themselves the kill. Now, Zvene coming back, Equalizer coming up, but...
A lot of time invested.
It's a lot of time invested and nothing gained.
Oh,
he's managed to sneak into the bush here.
Oh my!
He's not been spotted out. This is actually really rough here. They're jumping in onto Yusa. The equalizer's down. Monk has been caught out. And Yusa, killer instincts forward. Aesthetic secures the kill. A lot of time invested, but they do find themselves a kill.
What a ridiculous gank. That's a Tua kind of play. If you experience that, you just scratch your head. Where did Rumble come from? He's got teleport. I don't get it. Is it top lane Rumble? But Aesthetic now with Zerne going to steal away the blue buff as well. It's just back-to-back W's for Godsent there.
I didn't see who smite because there were two smites there, and I actually didn't see who got it because Jakey and Aesthetic both have a blue buff right now.
I feel like I saw Aesthetic get the gold, so I'm just going to say Aesthetic.
Okay.
Given there's a control wall.
Thanks, jungle player. Zvene is just having an interesting game. Is probably the best way to describe it. As Yusa will watch his support die. I'm very confused by Zvene's game so far.
Yeah, I think we was always in for a clown fiesta when we tuned in for Galaxy Race. Godsent. Of course, I joke.
They didn't bring the clown, they brought the whole circus, mate.
They brought the whole circus. Galaxy Racer, of course, are a very talented lineup. A lot of individual talent on this roster. But I mean, this is just... it's the false sense of security with the Ardent Blaze into the first bush that quite honestly gets me. Monk just overcommits. Zvene, he just wants the wave to crash. That's all it is. Yusa just kind of leaves it. Says if they freeze it, they freeze it. And Zvene, the true support player that he is, says no. You have to crash this wave. And, punished for it, rightfully so.
Now we're seeing Blade the Ruin King finished up onto Monk. Got the Eclipse in the way here for Kakan. And we haven't really talked too much about the top lane. We haven't paid too much attention. 10 CS lead for Kakan over Kubu. Kubu was on the receiving end of a gank earlier on in the game, hence why he is down a little bit in this lane, but, you know, hasn't died, and it's been relatively quiet up there. 610 now has the Destiny, so I'd like to see him be a bit more proactive on the map with that. He's got Zvene in the area, so maybe sync up with a lane gank with Zvene or something to try and set up a play.
He has had it for a while now. I mean, sometimes in competitive, you don't see Destiny gates get pulled, you know, necessarily at level 6, but it is really important for the Twisted Fate and his team, really, that he actually is able to make a play happen.
He'll be able to survive. Goes for the flash. Gets the stun. A little bit interesting, Ruby.
Okay.
Not sure if committing flash was worth it. Now, 610 was waiting in the wings with that Destiny available. Maybe that's why Kubi felt like the flash was there. Maybe he thought 610 could come in, but Wendell and Tibir were in the area, so
yeah, actually, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Wendell was what zoned them away from that. So, Destiny was used, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Destiny was used. We missed it. I think that skin that 610's running has a relatively unclear for spectators.
No, mate, I think we're just bad at our job.
It could be that. I'm trying to save us.
We're just rubbish.
But yeah, unfortunate for Godsent then to not be able to have Twisted Fate pull up there, because it certainly would have been a kill in the books for them. Maybe even a double kill.
Yeah.
Jackie in the area too.
Absolutely. They also had Aesthetic in the area. These
numbers were there for it.
Plays.
Yeah.
Where things had gone right, things would have gone really right. Now, Rift Herald in the pocket of Jeki, and they're looking just to slingshot Kakan ahead as the second Dragon for Godsent is getting finished up. This means Galaxy Racer potentially soul condition. It's going to be a long way away from them, but is potentially there for Godsent, as we will be looking at another Infernal Soul in this game. Godsent only 2 away from it. Tower goes down, first turret blood, and a lot of gold injected into Kakan. I'd like to have a look at the individual gold now, just see where we are. 1,700 gold, a massive gold lead of 1,100 over Kubu. The second charge is going to break out, and this tower is going to be going low. Kubu kind of struggling to hold this tower.
Yeah, and I mean, if Jackie wanted to come through maybe a couple times, could have given Kakan a bit more security. As engage on the bottom side, a stack here for a gank potentially.
They had the solar flare, but they were too close to their tower. Flashes were available, cleanses were available. Would have been a pretty hard one to pull off.
Yeah. Certainly so, and like you say, Kakan now, we've seen Jace's pop off today already. With such a gold lead in his pocket, he's likely to finish up the Eclipse right now.
You say today? I think all summer split so far, we've seen.
I mean, yeah, we have seen Jace's just do ridiculous things. It's the Eclipse Muramana spike, man. It's just so much damage. I still think Muramana needs a bit of a nerf. Just gonna throw it out there, but
yeah, Muramana's. I mean, like, how do you nerf it? Make it more expensive, lower the scaling potential on it?
I think it's just the flat amount of AD it gives is a bit absurd. But at the end of the day, it is literally mana and AD. But I think it's also to do with the passive, right? Because you deal extra damage, I think, also on your abilities too, or your physical damage abilities with based off your max mana. So it just ends up stacking up quite heavily. Godsent might look to engage on this one. Yeah, I think Galaxy Race is trying to step too far forward.
Wendell's going to knock Zvene back into the team. The equalizer's down. They're going to lock it in place Tibet for the moment. Great kick out. Teleports are coming in. And now Kubu caught that. Perfect execution's huge by Tibet. Wendell gets the knock off into a couple of members and Tibet not able to get himself off. As Yusa jumping away to safety. 610's coming in with the gold card onto Kakan to try and buy a bit of space. The exhaust is big, but it's not quite big enough. And now it's only one member standing. Munko jumping underneath the tower, missing the culling. Unable to find anything more for his team as that shot blast will land onto 610. And here comes Jakey. The kick lands. Jakey goes golden. And Zvene joins up with the rest of the team. Galaxy Race's health bars are low, but Godsent unable to do anything but watch their mid lane tower collapse. Galaxy Racer are just walking through this game. 6,000 gold ahead right now.
Yeah, real nice stopwatch at the end by 610 to save his own life, but realistically, a fight was not one that Godsent could actually end up taking. They felt like it was Galaxy Race that overstepped their bounds into their own territory, but the numbers just... I don't even know if it's really the numbers. I think it was just a gold lead coming into effect. They weren't able to find members. Tibble executed Aztec from like 500 HP or 400 HP.
Yeah.
And with the perfect execution, Riftmaker online for the Akali just deals so much true damage. And Yusa also wasn't really able to find a nice enough dive to pick up any key members either. Godsent just chasing a little too hard onto members that they realistically can't take down, unfortunately.
Looks like a potential little something could get set up here. Looks like it's not going to be the case. Is Wendell actually on the flank? Kubi's still got this tower though. Does make this a little bit harder, and Kubi able to hop, skip, and jump away.
Yeah, it's the that control order right there, giving up the game. Monk walking over it meant that Kubu had a bit of an idea.
Monk.
Yeah, classic Monk. He even just oh no, he didn't. I thought he was going to clear up the rest of the chicken camp and actually make it respawn.
He wanted that 10 gold real bad.
He wanted the 16 gold.
Now, Tibet actually looking to finish up this tower here. We'll be able to pick this one up. I don't think Kubi's going to be able to contest it, although the Destiny's actually popped and is going into the mid lane, and that scared Tibet off for a moment, but the tower still will go down.
Yeah, I don't want to call it too soon or anything. But I'm just going to say Akali's in the game, just 203.
Yeah.
Jeki's pretty fed, and Godsent don't necessarily have the best of tools.
Yeah, I mean, Kakan's, getting there as well with his items, working towards the Manamine, got the Eclipse finished up. He's had a pretty quiet game other than those 2 assists, and it feels like Godsent are just kind of rolling over and accepting fate. At least in our last few games, we did see XL at least try and contest as Wendell jumps into 610 space. 610 will get the gold card off, and Zvene might look for a punish here. The Xenoblade comes into the Everfrost, the constant CC chain onto the cow, but the cow won't go down. Galaxy Racer able to find this tower and get away with their lives. Dragon spawning up. Galaxy Racer might look to start stacking their own dragons here.
Yeah. Get on the first 2 dragons for the gold leads and getting those heralds. Name of the game for Galaxy Racer. We saw a few teams actually do it, I believe in summer and in spring. Tricks throughout both of the iterations of that team. Did a fair amount of that. Also, I believe SNG quite frequently drop the early dragons, go for the heralds, secure yourself a gold lead, and then you just make the 3rd dragon just hell for the enemy team to contest because you've just got so much gold in your pocket. if User steps too far forward, even with exhaust, I think Tibble might feel himself.
Yeah, I don't think
going
User
in,
has this. He's 2 levels. He's 3 levels down.
Tibble wants the cannon.
Hey, there it is. Reset's coming in. Rift Herald is still alive as well. And now Jakey looking for Kubu. Kubu just about to gnar out. Gets the gnar back in time, but the flash comes down and Kubu will get away alive. But Pride, not quite so intact.
Yeah. Exactly that. And it's the part of the game where Galaxy Racer just start to choke out Godsent. No real way for them to actually find an in. If you can keep the vision lines high, and constantly have Godsent catching waves, it's always Godsent that have to react to your plays. No real other counterplay unless Galaxy Racer make a poor decision in rotation and you give Godsent the opportunity to try and catch you off guard. It's about the only way in right now for Godsent. And so far, Galaxy Racer, since they've accrued this lead, they haven't really given them the opportunity to do just that.
Not at all. As seeing Wazeler going to crash in. Galaxy Racer could actually just Rift Herald in the mid lane if they really want to try and crack over the base. It might be a little bit too early. As the Destiny Gate is pulled and Khan actually out to safety. Now he's going to go for the blast gun over the wall. Now he knows where 610 is. And his guys actually kind of hit on this on the desk, actually, at the beginning of the day. As I'm going to hold this point, as the gold cut connects, they've got the gnar.
Oh.
Great bot back by Kakan, but he's going to get followed up. He's going to get taken out. The teleports are coming in, and here comes Monk onto the flank. A lot was used there, and Wendell is looking for the card, man. Down he goes. Kubu will be followed up onto as well, and Tibber is on a killing spree. Galaxy Racer finding himself a quick 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, they find their man, but they lose 2 more, and Tower on top of that. Fortunately, there's no big wave right now, but they've got the Herald to try and crack open the base if they want to, and looks like it's going to be just that. I don't think they'll be able to get the whole tower from full HP unless they really brute forced it, but there you go.
Brute forcing it, baby. Equalizes down, towers down as well. Herald surviving the equalizer, but it is going to walk on it, so the charge will get cancelled before it can go off, but they've opened a top lane inhibitor. This is going to be a point of pressure for them to work with now.
Yeah, absolutely, and it means that if Godsent take a poor fight, Galaxy Racer can most likely, if it's on the top side of the map, punish with that top lane inhibitor, and then you can try and snowball the pressure. Typically, taking inhibitors super early on into the game aren't that great, but when you've got a gold lead this big and you can likely snowball what's left of the map for Godsent anyway, it wouldn't be too terrible. And I mean, honestly, if the wave is there, they could just end the game at this point. The fight is good enough, so like you say, real major point of pressure. Godsent have to worry about even more. And at this point, it feels like a waiting game of Galaxy Racer. Likely, very, very likely with an 8k gold lead, closing this one out.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to pull this back from here. Monk's actually got the Black Cleaver finished up now. So not the kind of Essence Reaver, Kraken Slayer, or Gale Force build that we see from mid lane Ezreal's, Lucian, sorry. It's the kind of almost an old school build.
Yeah, here. This is like a season 8 build. I would love to get Monk's thoughts on this, because certainly not an itemization that we see out of Lucian these days, I don't feel like, but it's not like it doesn't deal damage. As demonstrated there, double auto, still dealt about 400 HP and 300 HP out of use health bar.
I've had the red buff for a little additional burn, but Dragon's spawning up in 40 seconds time, and they're just threatening this Baron. There's the equalizer used quite early, and Monk able to dash out. Kakan loses a fair amount of health, but has got an Eclipse, so it does have some sustain to work with. So kind of a major tool there used by Svedek. It is on a relatively short cooldown as they do catch out onto Jakey. Jakey gets gnarred back for the moment. Kakan's trying to get close enough. Monk now joining into the fray. No. Tibber able to take out one. The exhaust comes in from User, and Monk is on a killing spree. Tibber slides in forward, lands the shuriken, but no, he misses it. But now Svene being chased onto, as there's only 3 members. There's only 2 members left for Godsent. They just get mowed down by Galaxy Racer, and they may just be looking for another inhibitor tower here. Tibber can just move up towards the top side and start working on this inhibitor. This is going to be a very early cracked base here. 2 inhibitors going down at 22 minutes into the game. And it just feels like Godsent are running out of options, running out of opportunities to find their opening into this game. They are 9,000 gold down at 22 minutes.
If there was a last opportunity, Jake, I think that was it. 2 inhibitors cracked open. There is a dragon on the map, which you know, if Galaxy Racer reset on this timer, potentially Godsent would have been able to fake him, but instead they're gonna actually bait Godsent into thinking they've reset.
Oh.
They've had control of this side of the map for so long that Godsent just don't know this is going on. Yeah, they just don't know.
They go
no, they just don't know.
Dragon, but like
they don't know. They don't know. They just don't know. They just think that Galaxy Racer reset. That's my best guess, unless they are really actually just giving up the Baron. But
oh, now they know.
now they certainly know. I'm gonna assume that they believe they're on a reset.
I
So
mean,
it's obviously it's hard to tell, but
I'm going to say this much. If they hold on through the Baron push and then they get the next Dragon, that's a win con. But they've got 2 waves of supers pushing in. They're kind of severely lacking in any damage to be able to deal with those waves. And now Galaxy Racer can just use Baron to secure the final inhibitor.
yes,
There are
that's a pretty flat
conditions,
statement.
but-
There's not much to add to it.
Yeah, I mean, there are conditions, but like, damn, Godsent are going to need a miracle and a bit of a fumble from Galaxy Racer to be able to hold on.
Yeah. Oh, Monk almost stole that.
He wants it.
Oh my
He wants
god!
it real bad. Tibbet's going to come in, and I think they're going to give the kill over to Tibbet. You greedy cow.
Yeah, it's the angry cow, not just greedy. Wendelbo wants in on the action. He's had enough of not having more than 1 kill, and
It's red buff Alistair, baby. Let's see what he's made of.
he's got flash as well as
There's the gate. They're just going to instantly bop. Taking him out like it's nothing. 610 will lose his life, and it's a double kill picked up for Kakan on the Jace. The perfect execution slides in. Kubu about to gnaw out, and he almost takes out Jakey, but that's going to be all she wrote as the Baron up minion, super minion, is going to be pulled in, and they're looking for a little bit more here. They're looking for the follow-up. Yusa forced back onto the fountain, and the equalizer is just going to cook the Nexus as it goes down. 24 minutes on the clock, and Galaxy Racer absolutely walk over Godsent in an incredibly dominant game.
yeah.
And Scoundrel, I just kind of want to go back to what Scoundrel was hitting on at the beginning. 610 hasn't really impressed him as a performance so far here in the NLC, and that game was, again, not a particularly impressive performance.
Yeah.
0-4, 0-5, it was not a particularly great game, and with that, that was going to be Galaxy Racer continuing to find themselves some wins here in the NLC.
Yeah, very necessary win, I think, when you're playing against a 0-4 team. But it also means that in the top of the table now, there's 3 teams tied at 3 and 2. You've got Nordavind, you've got Riddle, you've got, of course, Galaxy Racer and Fnatic right at the top. So big win for them to pick up. And I mean, for Godsent, yeah, it's another disappointing performance, unfortunately. And, you know, when you pull out something like Twisted Fate, it's a pick that we haven't really seen so far in the NLC. Or really, I think globally, I think Twisted Fate's been a little bit quiet as far as I'm aware. And it can be for things like this. You need to be able to pull the trigger and make plays work. But I don't think we even saw 610 port to a side lane, like, once.
Well, he tried. To be fair, he did try.
He tried once, but
yeah.
it was more the issue with it.
You know what? I'm not interested in doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, really, really strong game there from Galaxy Racer. We're seeing kind of, you know, we hit on it. This is what Monk is technically capable of, and we do see him. It wasn't the kind of hyper like just run into them and find kills Monk. It was, you know, he was playing that lane well. But anyway, I think it's time. We've filled enough. Let's pass it over to our boomer on the analyst desk, who was unable to get his camera working, but finally he's figured it out. Over to you, Xcan.